Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Hart, Senior Vice President and Global Marketing Leader for Oracle Cloud. To celebrate Women's History Month, I have invited a very special guest to join me today to discuss advocacy for women's rights and to talk a little tech and data. Please welcome 7 times Grand Slams titled tennis legend, gold medal Olympian, activewear, and business leader, Venus Williams. Since 2006, Venus has been a huge advocate for women's equity and was named the first promoter of gender equality by UNESCO, the United Nations Cultural Organization. Now, her newest advocacy passion is the Privileged Tax Initiative for acknowledging equal pay for women. Hey, Venus.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Good. Where are you at the moment?
I'm locked in my house in New York. I'm actually not in the city. I'm actually being very COVID safe. So I'm stuck, not in Miami with you. So it's good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Very good to see you. Love the shirt.
Thank you. You inspire me. So I wanted to wear this special for you.
Thank you.
So you've inspired so many people though, women and men. So I'd like to hear from you, since we're celebrating Women's History Month, which business women inspire you?
Oh, so many. I think the list is so long and there's been just so many role models in business. One of my favorites that you probably wouldn't expect would be Madam C.J. Walker. She was the first widely recognized, first self-made female millionaire in the United States, doing hair products for women, making African-American women feel good about themselves. Shonda Rhimes, I love her. She's probably the most important woman in American television right now, and being an athlete, but also being a creative. I love seeing what she's done and how she's transformed and just fixated everyone on the stories that she tells. The list goes on and on. I love Iman. I love Janice Bryant Howard. Lots of amazing women that just are killing it. Of course, you too.
Oh,
you're killing it as well.
You make me blush.
Go women.
But I know that's a lie. I know that's a lie, but thank you. I'm glad that you said Iman and Shonda Rhimes. Yeah, they've really paved the way for so many people, for so many women. Just really powerful. And actually, I don't think I would have even thought about Iman, but what she had done in being such a huge advocate for women of color into the fashion business and everything else that she was doing, that's really powerful. Thank you for sharing.
So many who I love. Diane Carroll, she just passed away recently. Love her.
Yeah.
So many amazing women in so many fields. Michelle Obama, who can forget Oprah? So yeah, this could be a whole other conversation.
100% Oprah is the person I always think about when I think about and women who are inspiring and business women. I mean, because she crosses everything, so you're passionate about advocating for women's inequity. In 2007, because of your efforts, you led Wimbledon to award women players the same pay as your male counterparts. And now you've launched a new initiative under your brand 11 by Venus, the Privileged Tax Initiative, and that you're now advocating for the fair pay for women. Was there something, any kind of an event or anything that personally happened to you that triggered you to take this on?
Yeah, definitely. Growing up, my mom always said, stand up for what's right. And so that was always with me, no matter where I went. And even if it was unpopular to speak, it all just came out. So growing up, I just wanted to win Wimbledon, and you work hard and you get there and you're like, you didn't realize as a child, wow, the women aren't getting paid the same as the men. And I just ended up honestly being the one who kind of spoke up the loudest and kind of started to take the lead in equal pay for women at the Grand Slams. And so since the open era started in 1968, unequal pay all the way until 2007, 39 years. It took 39 years. So I'm extremely passionate about equality for all, man, woman, child, whoever you are. But of course, having experienced inequality as a woman, I'm extremely passionate about that too. And this year, my brand 11 by Venus, we really took up the reins of calling attention to the disparity of women and equal pay with women, and that we're only making 81, 82 cents a dollar as men. And this is in the most developed country in the world, you could argue. So there's a lot of work to be done. And it's about acknowledging that work and calling attention to that work. And we've brought a lot of great partners in to do that. So it's been really exciting, probably one of my proudest moments in business, just being able to do something that really matters. So it's been a great moment for my team. And we're not stopping just in March. We're just going to keep going on and on and on until it ends.
That's fantastic. I mean, when I first heard you talk about the privilege tax, I was kind of blown away because there's so many things that you already do. And then now to take this on, it's so important, especially for women. A lot of women, unfortunately, accept what they have to accept in order to be able to go into business or into any part of their career, tennis. And it's just, I'm very excited, and I think it's a really important initiative that you're doing. So thank you for taking this on, because it takes people like you who have a platform to actually be able to have this conversation, because people listen to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'd love for you to be involved so we can talk.
100%. You know me, I'm into helping in any way that I can, especially for women. And thinking about women, March has been a really busy month for you. Not just the Miami Open, your day job, but you also partnered with Saks Fifth Avenue and launched I Am Wonder Woman by your company 11 by Venus. What inspired you to do it?
I love Wonder Woman. I just kind of grew up watching her, and I'm a big kid at heart too. And all my Olympic dresses, I was always designing around Wonder Woman. Like, what would she wear on the courts? I was always doing that kind of thing. So when we had the opportunity to design around Wonder Woman, that was just so much fun. So that's been a big fun month with us launching at Saks, our first collection. And I think it's just inspiring for women, and the movies that have come out have really just put women in a powerful roles. A lot of times in films, we aren't always depicted as strong. We're always depicted as needing to be saved or have someone else find the solution. And Wonder Woman, she creates the solution and saves the world. So I love that narrative, and it was great to do that, because 11 is about the best pursuit of yourself, and that's what she does on a day-in-day basis.
That's amazing. When I saw it launch, I think it launched on March 8th. I was kind of like, that makes sense for Venus to do when I started seeing that out in social media. So kudos to you for doing that and partnering with DC Comics, right? And Warner Brothers,
yes,
besides Saks, in doing this.
Yes.
So very, very exciting. I'm very happy for you. So let's switch gears a bit and talk about one of your many jobs, tennis. Wearable technology and big data analytics have permeated the world of sports, including tennis. On tennis.com, matter of fact, there was an article written in 2020 stating that the ATP and WTA tours are using analytics. Across the women's tours, coaches are provided detailed stats that can be used during on-court coaching, analysis of the games, and understanding patterns. But reactions from players have been mixed. Do you use data and analytics extensively in your game strategy?
I absolutely do. I absolutely use the data. I use the analytics, not only on my opponents, but for myself. So that way I can see what my patterns are, where my weaknesses are. And then I'll spend time, even this off season, I've spent time working on kind of those plays that make the most sense. My coach and I, he loves it. So there's like a data analytics person that works for the US Federation. And I think my coach and that guy are best friends. And they're like calling each other, looking at plays, looking at the data, and then I come in and we look at it too. And then there's so much that goes into it. I love this conversation. And this off season, we worked on, hitting the serve and then working on that first shot, controlling the point. And we're looking at the data, like this is where I can really take advantage of my game. And so the different data points, it makes so much sense, and it helps me to focus on what I need to do on the court. And then also going into each match, just looking at each player, what their strength and weaknesses are, where they're serving most of their balls, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's kind of like knowing what's going to happen before you get out on the court. And that definitely gives you an extra advantage. So I really love the data. I love being able to not only look at it, but also look at the stroke production, all that stuff. So it's definitely a fun point.
That's fantastic. Because obviously I know you're a tech geek. So that is fits right in with you to be able to kind of hone in on that.
Yeah, and some of the players, they're even hiring just someone on their team just to look at data. It's not a ton of players yet, but there are some players, and that's just all their job is just to look at the data, look at them, look at the other players. So it's definitely come a long way in tennis. I think it's been there probably more in other sports, but it's just really coming along.
Excellent. How do you think that data and analytics have improved your game?
I think it's definitely improved my game because at this point in time, everyone's good and everyone's great. So if you can have that like tiny 1% or half a percentage or that 0.25% on that one important point, that's like the difference between winning a championship or not. So if you have that data and you know, hey, it's match point right now and we've been out here 3 hours and I know this is this person's favorite serve, then that gives you that little extra advantage.
Absolutely. You've obviously embraced technology, and a little nugget, you guys just all heard me out there say that about Venus being a tech geek. She truly is a tech geek. She's even interned at other software companies, not any I will mention, but why do you think other players have had mixed feelings about using data and analytics for their game playing or understanding their competitors?
Maybe they're old school. Maybe they just don't know. Maybe they don't have great team members, but if they don't want to use it, I won't force them to.
Yeah, why not?
I'll take all the data. Knowledge is power. Information is power. So the more you have, the more that you know. And I mean, it's just across the board, even outside of tennis, using the data in my activewear business or interior design, looking at our margins, looking at our customers, looking at our sales, doing our hindsight meetings. There is so much that we can do with the data, and there's so much that we cannot do. So the times that we are kind of going blind when we're launching a new product, of course, we're looking at, hopefully we can get a hold of any data of other competitors. But when we don't have the data, then we have to be extremely conservative.
Exactly. Like you said, data is knowledge. Knowledge is power. So
now I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
So it's like tomato, data. Is there a right way or a wrong way to say it?
No, there's not. Tomato. Not a big deal.
I go in between. I'm like, data. I think the guy on Star Trek, his name was Data. Remember that character?
Yeah. That's how I know you are a true because you like stuff like that.
I'm telling you, it's my mom's fault. I go to her house and she's watching Star Trek, and I'm like, okay, we'll watch Star Trek.
My brother was the same. He was a huge tech geek and Dungeons and Dragons and all that stuff, which is probably why I got into tech. So yeah, no, there's no difference, honestly.
Will you watch a Stranger Things kind of show because it has?
Yes, I love that show. By the way, I really love that show. Okay, we don't need to reveal this to everybody about our geekiness. Okay, I think it's already assumed that we both like tech. So, but let me talk about a little bit about the data analytics in tennis. You mentioned that you use it for your businesses. So you obviously use it for 11 and for Starr Interiors. How do you use that for them?
Oh my gosh, so much. For example, we're looking at the number of returns. Like we just had a launch at Saks. So of course we want to know what our sell-through looks like. It's great to get there, but then how do you perform? And then we want to look at our returns and see what's working, what's not working, and do more of what's working in the next season. Are the age groups who's following us, what are they into? We're looking at the prices, looking at the margins. Oh my gosh, we can't make this particular thing. We will lose money on it. So all of that, all those analytics are extremely important in creating those dashboards. And I really enjoy that part. I think it just feels so empowering to have it. And because there was a point in time where I didn't have it and I didn't have team members who valued it. And it really threw a wrench in the business. So now I have team members and that's what they want to see. That's what we talk about. And it's like, it's a whole new world. And it's like you're speaking the same language. Before, it's all lost in translation.
100%. I mean, the way I think about marketing is you have to look at your data and do the analysis and understand and look at the trends, because if you don't look at that, then how are you supposed to make some key decisions about your business? I mean, how are you supposed to make determinations? I always believe you can fail and do things in the past, but how do you know that you actually did something ineffectively so that you can get there afterwards? And the only way to do that is by doing your analysis, doing your homework. I'm glad to hear that you're using it for your business and that you've been a big advocate for it.
Absolutely. And actually, I find it exciting because you look at it and you see the ticks go up or go down, but something's happening. It's like this little heartbeat. It's like do. And especially when it's going up, you're like, we're on the right thing. You do the happy dance, and then you start to do more of that. Then you try new things, and you're like, I can't believe that worked. And so it's looking at that actually is what motivates me, because you can do things, but if you don't know the performance, you've done it, it looks great aesthetically, but when you actually look behind and see that, then it's like, that's when my heart starts beating fast.
See, I'm exactly the same way. When we launch new campaigns that we've never tried before, and then be able to see campaigns that we didn't think were going to do well, completely did well, customers liked it, or there was some reason why it triggered them to actually get that content piece. And you're like, wow, I can't believe that actually worked. Or things that you thought were going to work didn't work at all. And it's like, okay, let's go look at the data. What was it? Who did we not message this correctly? Did they not, for some reason, feel that it was talking to them? But 100%, I'm a little kid when I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the dashboards and you go, that worked, right? Especially like when we see stuff that works in social media and you see that take off. Which I know you're a huge Instagram person. You're all over social media and you talk to your base. So you understand what it's like. I know some of it's personal. I know some of it is business, but do you notice with your Instagram on what actually resonates more with some of your fan base?
Yeah, that's actually what keeps me going on Instagram, is looking at the analytics, because I'm a very private person. So I'm not exactly, jumping up to go post every selfie in the world,
Yeah.
But definitely pictures with me and Serena, definitely pictures of me and my dad. People just go gaga over it. They love Mr. Williams. Those ones are always interesting. Yeah. I never posted a ton about my tennis until this year. And so a little bit, but this year I posted a lot more about my tennis and a little more behind the scenes in practice, because to me, practice is that like happens 6 days a week. It's old news, but people like that, I'm like, oh, I didn't know you would like to see practice. So it's sometimes interesting, like you said, what you think might not work does work. And then it's nice. It's encouraging to kind of have that exchange of, I don't know, emotions and feelings between people. It's all positive on my channel, thank God.
Oh yeah, I've seen it actually. And I think what you're so good at that I think other marketers could also learn from is that you just give enough like a little bit of insight on you, the humanity of you, that you connect with. Technically, for me, it would be a customer. I want to connect with my customers. For you, it's your fan base. Who are your customers? Mm-hmm. So I noticed, like when you had launched the Wonder Woman, how that really resonated on your Instagram. People found that really powerful and inspiring that you were launching that in collaboration, not just the tech geeks, but I mean everybody, that it just made a lot of sense. And it was at the right time, because a lot of people right now are into these superheroes, right?
Yeah, me included, putting my hand up. So
me too. So you employ a lot of people at your companies, which is not always easy to track the management, the employee records, or accessing data for salaries. Do you use HR software to help be more efficient at your companies?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how HR software has really come along these days, and how you can manage your events and activities and all of that. You can manage, of course, salaries, you can manage reviews, you can manage all the tasks. that part I feel like makes it a lot of fun, being able to manage all those things that are in HR right in one spot. But it's not really something that I necessarily do on a daily basis. So there's only so many hats I can wear, but I like to be aware of everything. And
Yeah, of course.
I definitely sit more like in the vision. So I think a lot of my employees spend a lot of time telling me no, not yet. And so I just spend a lot of my time now saying no, not yet. There's only so much you can do at one time. So I save my ideas so I don't drive them crazy. And then management takes a ton of time. It takes a ton of time. It takes a ton of commitment, which is it's great to be able to pick and choose, you know.
Of course, you're a business leader. That's what we have to do as business leaders, to enable them with the technology. So many companies have had a tough time this past year. How has the technology helped you through the pandemic with your business?
The world has gone digital. So being able to, in COVID, interact with your customer digitally and then being so eager to do so has been really crucial because the touch points have become much different. So through social media, through our website, through all sorts of ways, it's been great. During the height of COVID, from like, I don't know, March till June or July or so, I was doing all these Instagram live workouts. So I would go play tennis and I would go to do my cardio. Then I'd go to the gym. Then I'd do another workout on Instagram live, and I had all these guests. But it was great because it kept me motivated, and we were able to connect to our customer who also wanted to keep moving and who also wanted to be inspired during this time. And that was golden. It was an amazing time for me.
Excellent. That's great. I'm glad to hear you weathering it through, since there's so many companies that are hurting right now through it,
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, I mean, many retail businesses have struggled this past year, but I'm glad to hear are thriving with the recent launch of the Wonder Woman with Saks and with DC and Warner Brothers. But let me ask you this on a kind of a different tangent. What made you decide to partner with these large brands after being an independent business owner for so many years?
Well, all I know was in LA and with Wonder Woman, and I had an opportunity to work with them. And I said, please drop everything. I need this meeting tomorrow because I just love superheroes. I love comics. I love Wonder Woman. So I was like, it was like right away, I dropped everything. That was exciting for me. And yeah, definitely we've been going into a different sort of area, activewear. So we were primarily a tennis driven brand. So once we launched activewear, then it gave us a much larger platform to partner with different retailers and different wholesalers. So that's been a lot of fun. I think, the last, I don't know, 6 months before this or all last year, it's like you're selling it and you're getting orders and you're like, okay, this is the first step. But then you're like, you close your eyes, you're like, did people like it? And because it could bomb.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I just want to say that.
So it's good to get that feedback of what people like. And then you also see what they don't like. And so far, finger crossed, knock on everything I can, it's going great.
Anything surprise you about what you've been learning?
Yeah, like you said, you never know what's going to resonate. We had this amazing like waffle set and it was just beautiful, feels great, but customers just couldn't see that digitally. It didn't come through. It's something that would be amazing in stores, or an amazing coral color they had. Everybody bought the blue. It's like, but didn't you see the coral? So yeah. It definitely changes that now that we're all digital, then we have to start thinking about, well, we might like this, but you really just can't see this. And I'm doing our digital fittings, and it's interesting because as I'm seeing it for the first time from being on paper to actually seeing it digitally, it opens my eyes to how someone else will see it. And we're like, will you come closer to the camera? We can't see that, So now I'm really aware of, okay, let's look at it through kind of a computer's or smartphone's eyes instead of they can touch and feel it.
That's amazing. It is weird what you can do, how you have to kind of change to be digitally versus being brick and mortar. Because it, like you said, that waffle probably would have been amazing if people could see the texture of it, but it's the unfortunate limitations of when it does come to digital. But I'm sure at some point in time, you could probably have that when we get back to some kind of normalcy again, inside of that. So don't get rid of that, because I would love to see it, because I'm a big waffle person.
Okay, let's need the set.
You don't have to. I'll go buy it. I'll go buy it. I'm there to support. I am there to support. You know, every business leader has had to go through barriers, and you starting a business. Could you share anything of what you had to face in starting your business? Any of them?
Oh man, I think, of course, just starting is of course a barrier,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
Definitely at times, especially on the design side, just people looking at you and saying you're an athlete. I'm like, yeah, I am, but am I only allowed to be this? Definitely being a woman. I went into a meeting once at Starr, and the guy, we gave him a brochure, and he said, he threw it across the table, and he says, you know, I don't remember, something about I'm just not another pretty face. And we look at each other like, what?
What?
Well,
What?
thanks for the compliment. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So there's all kinds of stuff you face. We laughed. I didn't care. And, I think later on he apologized. Thank God he came to his senses. But
I hope he did apologize. That's rude. I'm sorry. That was rude.
yeah,
And you, yeah.
It's just a sign we shouldn't do business with you. I'm so sorry for everyone that works with you. It must be very traumatic. I think some of my barriers were definitely me. I'm like, on the court, I'm definitely this other person, and off of the court, I'm just so nice. And that is my Achilles heel, because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And if someone does something over and over again that's wrong, I'm like, I don't want to sound like a broken record. Is that going to bother them? And it's like, okay, but it's not right. So I'm constantly pushing myself to, I guess, call people out. And I'm getting a lot better at it. But some of my barriers are also around my own weaknesses.
You know, you're not alone. I think the hardest thing to do as a leader is to admit your weakness, but then gaining enough insight on yourself to realize that it is a weakness. And then how do you just overcome that? Mm-hmm. You know, I think it's actually one of the best items that you can learn as a leader is to know your weakness and your strengths, and then make sure that you build on your strengths, and wherever your weaknesses are just work on them, and have the empathy to be able to do that, and the insight, which is not always easy. I think that's what makes great business leaders. And it sounds like you're very thoughtful the way that you think about your business, what you want, what you don't want. So don't beat yourself up over that. We all go through it. It's not until you do it do you realize, all right, I suck at that, or I'm really good at that. So don't beat yourself up. We're all in it.
Yeah. And I think one of my other weaknesses is I'm always going a million miles an hour. And if someone's talking too much, my mind goes out the window because I've moved on. And I was talking to someone else, and they were like, have you ever been in a meeting and you really needed to hear that part, but you didn't, and you had to pretend like you knew what they were saying, and you're just hoping it works? You're like, oh. And I'm like, I gotta work on that.
I call it fake it till you make it, kind of thing. You fake it till you make it.
The connection broke. What did you say?
Yeah, what? I can't hear you. Zoom is not working. My audio. Sorry, you gotta go. Believe me, yeah. I might have done it once or twice. So, and that's not for my staff to realize that, by the way. So, you've been so gracious to give me your time. So I just have one last question, especially for all the business leaders that are listening today. What advice do you have for them on making it through the struggles of this pandemic? I mean, I know there's hope and we're getting through it, but there's still a lot of rebuild that people have to do. What would you recommend?
I'll recommend what worked for me. And number one is something's going to go wrong at some point in time, and giving yourself a few minutes, whatever that time period is, to be upset about it, then just shake it off and let it go. Mine was 10 minutes, and I had 10 minutes to be upset and then moved on. And I found over time, the other day, they told me, oh, this vendor canceled the fabric order, and now we won't have enough spandex, and we have to meet this delivery. And it's the one thing everyone bought. And I was on the court, and I looked at it and said, oh, okay, I'll talk to you after practice.
You looked at that on the court. What are you doing?
I have to return my emails. That's all I can say. But it got to the point where it was from 10 minutes to like, no, nothing. Like, I'll deal with it. So once you give yourself that amount of time, you'll be surprised how much you adjust to that, that horrible upset feeling that you feel inside your whole body, right? And then whatever happens, you're like, water on the back, you can conquer it. And the other thing I'd say is that everybody's working 24 hours, waking up at night, checking emails, just creating some sort of block, whatever you can afford to not do that. So that way you can come back fresher and stronger, and also not to expect to be balanced. This is an unbalanced time in life. When you're trying to succeed or doing extraordinary things, you're just not going to be a balanced person. So stop looking for that, but to find moments of balance between an unbalanced life. So those are all my pointers that I use and recommend.
They're all super helpful, and I can more than agree with you. I actually block an hour every day for myself just to go and decompress, because how can you be an effective leader if you're just going and not taking a moment to have time to think about something, and think about it in a thoughtful way. So thank you. I think it's very inspiring. And thank you so much for your time, sharing your business insights with the leaders that are listening today. You're truly inspiring, and you're certainly a Wonder Woman.
Thank you so much. So much fun. Thank you.
It was. Should we do a dance out? Do you want to do one?
Are you going to play a song?
Yeah, I'll play some music.
Can't do it for the gram, maybe next time. I'ma do it for my fam on the west side. I'ma do it for the fans, catch the next flight. But I have to work for it.